education and matures with experience, but it only flourishes with action. But how do we take action to create the career we want? Fortunately, we can learn from the experience of those who walked this path before. Imagine what it would be like to sit down with 8 distinguished professionals and talk about career success. The book Intelligent Courage does just that. The people we meet tell their career stories as learning experiences, answering the questions, what did you learn from your career that you did not learn in college? Think of their career stories as a set of field notes for you to analyze and use. Readers learn the recurring issues most natural resource professionals face, how the people we meet turned problems into opportunities, and how the narrators define the attributes of a successful natural resource professional. Intelligent Courage is valued by professors as a seminar textbook, valued by students to learn what to expect in their careers, and valued by professionals for advice on street smarts to use in any career. The more we learn from one another, the fewer sidesteps or missteps we take in our own career journey. So, whether you are just starting out or in the middle of a career, the wisdom shared in Intelligent Courage will positively impact your perspective and your ability to create a career of satisfaction and conservation achievement.
Welcome. My name is John Shen. I'll be your producer and your MC during today's program. You are here at the Intelligent Courage book release party by, of course, the one and only Michael Fraidenburg. So before we begin, we just have a few things that we'd like to do. We have an icebreaker for you. Go ahead and open your chat window and answer, who's your most courageous role model? And what's one thing that you admired about them? Again, who's your courageous role model? And what's one thing that you admired about them? In addition to that, if you want to support Michael's work, we have his book here, and he has it on special for 3 days. It will be 50% off for all of you who are attending here on virtual. So thank you again. We also have a live audience here in Zoom. Thank you for everyone who called in, including Nigeria. And we also have many people tuning in on multiple live streams on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. You can also follow along and hit the chats. We are watching all of them so we can communicate with you. In addition to that, there is a raffle. And if you're on the live stream, there will be a link for the raffle. You can win even if you're on the live stream, not here on Zoom. So anywhere you are, just click the link, put in your first name, last name, and email address, so that Michael knows where to send your prize. In addition to that, we have special performances coming up today. We will have a world-class bartender. We will have a world-class magician. And we also have a world-class instructor in dance. So get ready today to be surprised. People who are really passionate around the career, just like Michael wrote about. So today we also have a delicious mojito recipe, both alcoholic and non-alcoholic, for however you like to enjoy that. You can have those supplies ready and mix along with us. So with that, so excited. Let's see if you have a few chats here. Again, if anybody has some chats, we have Elizabeth Drake joining us. Thank you so much. Scott Boner said, T. Roosevelt and Lincoln, both are honest, forthright, and political experts. Thank you for those. Dave Cannon says, Greta Thunberg tells it like it is. Great one. Bruce said, David Hendricks, over 40 years with the USFWS, with the Forest and Wild Service, if I got it right, and overcame prejudice and other obstacles in life and career. Always had the biggest smile and warmest hug. Betty, especially too, with yesterday, she said the courage of MLK, right? Martin Luther King. Thank you so much for those chats. And now I'd like to introduce to you, he's the owner of the cooperation company. He's committed to helping you manage conflict and attain your mission. He's a certified fisheries professional and a certified mediator. He's got 30 years with the Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife. Please put your hands in the air for your host and author of the new book, Intelligent Courage, Michael Fraidenburg. Michael, over to you. Oh, just one second, Michael. And let's get your mute. There we go. You got it?
Yeah, I
Genius.
made my first mistake. First of many I'll make probably the rest of my life. Got it. All right. All right, let me start over. Thanks so much everybody for showing up. It's just a thrill to see so many people who are my good friends here and new friends that I haven't met in person yet. So thanks for coming. We're going to try to keep this moving along so you get information about the book, but you also have fun during the process. So we're all about setting this up so that we intersperse the spirit of all the people I've worked with in my whole career who like to have fun doing this kind of work, interposed with content. So think we'll talk about the book, of course, and maybe share a reading or two from it. But let's kind of get into the spirit of this being something that's a bit of a celebration. Of course, a celebration for me. It's deeply personal when you write a book and you get it published. And so I'm celebrating the fact that I did the darn thing and it's out on the streets now and it's getting good reviews and it's getting attention in Amazon, all of which I'm incredibly have a lot of gratitude about. But in particular, I'm so thrilled that you guys share that sort of spirit of accomplishment in the kind of work that we do. So let's kind of get in that frame of mind. Here's a bit of a sad note that I'm going to begin on and note that there's two people from Intelligent Courage that I interviewed in it that are no longer with us. So Andrea Mead Lawrence, the Olympic ski champion, passed away 2.5 or so years ago. And she was just this total inspiration for me to meet about how to achieve personal excellence. And then we just got the news this morning when we were logging on that Phil Peaster, the guy that spoke so passionately and so eloquently about values, passed away yesterday. So it'd be a big loss to the conservation community, especially those folks who are concerned about desert aquatic ecosystems. So let's kind of hold those guys, those two people in our hearts and our minds here as we celebrate the work we do, but also celebrate their many accomplishments, generated benefits that we will care about. I'm going to begin with just a reflection on the most common question I get on the book, and I'll just talk to you about it. People say, how did the book idea come to my mind? They ask me that question, and it's pretty straightforward. I and a number of my friends and colleagues in my year class, towards the end of our careers, got into the reflective mode like you often do, and started thinking about, well, what did our career mean? And what did we learn from it? And I got into the listening mode in those conversations and realized my friends and colleagues were telling these absolutely terrific stories about what their career accomplishments were and then what they learned in the whole process of thinking about their career as a learning experience. Well, that was the core idea that I was able to bring together to create this book idea is let's talk to some people who are just darn good role models and ask them in a variety of different ways, what did you learn in your career that you didn't learn in college that the next generation of professionals ought to know about? And these wonderful stories and wonderful conversations came out with people unpacking what was the meaning of their career and what did they learn. Then we put it together inside the wrappers of a book cover and are hoping to hand it off to anybody with a career in natural resources, but especially young folks who are getting ready to begin their careers, and sort of passing on that sort of generational wisdom about, well, how do you think about creating a career that is full of meaning and purpose and satisfaction? And what are the difficult moments that we encounter in a career? What are the highs that we encounter in a career? But most importantly, how do you manage yourself? How do you manage your career so it'll be something that you want when you're into it? So that's the main question that the book tends to try to cover. And so we'll be reflecting on that several times as we go along. And then towards the latter part of the program, you're going to get a chance to meet some of the people who are interviewed in the book and ask them questions. So you might be thinking ahead, if you wanted to ask one of our narrators, the book narrators, a question, what that might look like. And we'll give you some more prompting when we get closer to that. But right now, for this particular moment in time, let's just think this is a party. And you can't have a party unless you have terrific beverages. And so we've got with us a bartender from Moldova who's a master world-class bartender that's worked in Michelin star restaurants. And his YouTube channel has over 1 million views of him doing his thing. So I'm incredibly pleased to introduce you to this guy who is passionate about what he does, but passionate about making people feel good in these sort of celebratory environments. So please meet George Bodestian. He's going to show us how to make one of Ernest Hemingway's favorite drinks. So, George, take it away. Show us what we do. I got all my ingredients here and I'm ready to go.
Hello, everyone. I hope everyone is well. And thank you very much, Michael, for inviting me to this party. I'm really very excited. And first of all, I want to see the glasses. Who have the glasses today? I see only one. Okay, let's go through to everyone slowly. Today we'll prepare one of the most famous cocktail in the world. It's type of a cocktail which you can drink in all type of season. Like I'm from Moldova, it's Eastern Europe. Now it's winter, it's very cold outside, but it's easy. We can drink the mojito at this time. So this cocktail is coming from Cuba. People who like, they can drink it with alcohol. For it's we need white rum. I have for today Angostura white rum. You can use any other rums, but it should be the white one. It's made with mint. Mint is one of very important part of the cocktail because it's giving this refreshing and iconic style of the cocktail. Sugar, if you like to be with sugar, it's one of the most flexible cocktails in the world. You can do it with everything. Just the method is the same, but the ingredients can be different with passion fruit, with cucumber, with watermelon, with everything. So let's start slowly with the glass. So here we have the glass. All the times when I'm starting to make a cocktail, especially mojito, I would like to take 2 leaves of mint and to just wash it like that. It's giving a smell of the glass. So after that, when you are drinking, your hands will smell all the day, and it is nice. When mint is have a very refreshing smell, so it's nice. First of all, we have to give some smell to the glass. I hope everyone see perfectly what I'm doing. After we did that, we have slowly to start to cut the lime. Sorry, we're just making like a few of these. Since now we're in home, we can use any type of tools that you have in a home, like fork, spoon, everything. It's easy. I use as well because I'm in my kitchen right now, and I use everything what I have in the kitchen to make this cocktail done. So we'll take this half of the lemon. We're just squeezing in the glass. Very good. Here I have sugar. With the sugar can be done with white sugar or brown sugar. It can be made sugar syrup, which is just hot water with the sugar. So you're just mixing that. It's sugar syrup. So this, because I'm not eating anything with sugar, I will not use it. But if you want, you can put 1 spoon of sugar, and you can go through this one. So I will just go the next with the mint leaves. So the best way to open the flavor of the mint is to cut it like that. Just cut it in your hands. But for me, I prefer more to just slap it. So in this way, I can open the smell and the flavor of the mint. So in the cocktail, you will feel it like strong mint. It's like around 12 leaves. Michael, how is going with the cocktail?
Going good. Got
You are following my steps?
Got my lime squeezed in. I'm ready.
Okay, a few more. And now, my next step, all of the bartenders, they doing in different ways, how they like or how they see from somewhere. So my way, because I have a lot of experience in many countries like Europe or Middle East. I work for 5-star hotels, Michelins, for sheikhs, for different types. So I made my own way of making this cocktail. After you have only the sugar, lime, and mint, you just have to smash it a bit, to muddle. Because I don't have a muddler at home. I think not all the people have a muddler at home, but who have, they can use it. For me, I have a nice ice cream spoon, so I'll just use this ice cream spoon. And just whisk it a bit to make it nice, juicy flavor inside. Nice. So my favorite part we're going with the alcohol, so with the rum. I'll just show. Mr. Mike, which type of rum do you have?
I don't have rum. I decided to just do it with a little bit of brandy, so I'm departing a lot from your recipe.
Brandy. Okay, it will work even with brandy, but mostly you have to focus on this one because the rum is giving this flavor of the sugar cane.
Right.
My rum, it's a Caribbean rum from Trinidad, which is, I like the flavor. It has a bit of vanilla flavor. It's amazing. So you will need, in all the countries, it's a different of type of measurement. I don't know what the measurement in USA, but here in Europe, in all the countries, they have their own way. Like in my country, it's 50 ml or like 1.5 ounces. But I will use, like if you have a cocktail shaker at home, you just, this is a European shaker. You can take the button of the shaker, this meaning that it's 30 ml. So let's do it again. 30 ml of rum. You can go from 30 to 50 or 1 ounces. After we did that, we need to add some ice. You can use crash ice if you have the crusher at home, but the cube ice it work very good as well. And the last ingredient, it will be soda water or sparkling water. For me today, I'll use the sparkling water. Just fill up the glass with the sparkling.
What type of sparkling water did you get over there? It looks like bubbly.
This is a local brand, but it's a sparkling water, like a normal sparkling water. It's from Romanian mountains. It's one of the best here.
Borsec.
Like Borsec, yeah, it's Borsec. I think if you have in USA that Pellegrin, something like that, I'm not sure. But any kind of, or soda, like a soda can or sparkling water, it will work. And we just have to mix it with 1 spoon. We mix it very nicely. Okay. And now we have to garnish it. Just small piece of lime. And small sprig of mint. Let me choose one nice one. So here we have the mojito. Looks like that. If you have a spoon, the straw, you can use a straw or only like that. I want to say cheers to everyone, and I really believe in the successful of this book. And I will, as a young generation, I would like to take my time and to start to read this book because it will be something new for me, and I'm always open for new things, to learn something more, to know maybe one day, why not, I will take the same industry. Cheers and enjoy the drink.
Cheers.
Let's give George a round of applause.
Thank you, George.
Thank you very much. If you have any questions, please. If you have about the drink, I'm here to assist you.
Drop it in the chat and George can reply to you. So when I approached George about this, we had a conversation about why he might be wanting to participate. And he said, I always like to try a new challenge. So, and you succeeded admirably. So thanks very much for helping
Thank you,
us out.
George. Clap, 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 clap.
Thank you very much for everyone and enjoy the rest part of this party.
All right. Thank you, George.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Well, bye now. So let's stay connected to the drink for a moment and give a toast. And I'd like to toast, I guess, 3 things now, all in one go here. First is to honor the people that I mentioned at the beginning who've unfortunately died, and we want to be respectful in remembering who they were and the kinds of contributions they made and the impact that they certainly had on my life and the book. The second is a toast to all of you guys. And sure, it's a toast for you being here and supporting me, but more than anything, it's a deep appreciation for your commitment to the issues I care about. So thanks for working on whatever form of sustainability issue you work on. Thanks for doing that. Just really deeply appreciate you doing that. And then the third toast is to the next generation, because we're handing off a world to them that still needs the love and attention that you've tried to give it in your careers. So let's wish them well in their journey, their career journey, because we depend on them for good things to happen in the future. So toast all of that at one time. Thanks, you guys.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers, decidedly so. Well, let me give you another, just a little bit of tidbit of content here about who the people are in the book. If you haven't had a chance to read the book in full, really what we're talking about are 8 people that I scouted out, mostly people that I knew, not mostly, a few people I knew, and mostly people who were referred to me by other people. So I went around to my professional circuit and started asking people the same kind of question that John asked in the chat at the very beginning. Who's a role model and who do you admire? And can you tell me something about these people and why you admire them? And I started getting answers that coalesced on people saying, well, there's this person over here. And I'd get that recommendation 2, 3, sometimes 4 times. And so, well, that's a person worth talking about. So I gave him a call and we had a conversation about the book project and so forth. And eventually folks were kind enough to let me recruit them to the project. So it wasn't a lot of magic about how to recruit the people. The nature of the people that we ended up with in the book are appropriately diverse, I think, for the career interests that the book, for the audience that the book is written for. They're all inspiring people. They all did great things in their career, and they all amassed a lot of street smarts in their career that's worth sharing, and they all worked hard to make a difference. They worked with a sense of clarity about what their values were. So they had a lot of personal attributes like that I certainly admired, but they also had an ability to articulate and reflect first and then articulate what is it they learned from their career. And that's, again, the core question that we try to explore, I try to explore in the book. So there's inspiring folks, and they come from a diversity of working backgrounds, from national parks to the national forests to universities to county, state, and federal government agencies. They worked in a lot of different kinds of issues: desert fishes conservation, saving species from extinction, working on spotted owls. They worked on large institutional issues like how do you shift the culture of a whole management organization so that it gets out of its history and moves someplace new that can be productive and different and responsive to the world that is developing, not the world it used to be. And they also had a lot of personal attributes that were admirable, I think. So they had different approaches, but they all had a sense of activism, using the best definition of that word that we can put on it, is that they didn't want their careers just to be something that was a job for them. They wanted their careers to go someplace, to accomplish something that was important to them. The values of that sense of being active about their activism, to move the ball down the road in some way. They also were all committed to achieving personal excellence. There's just a wealth of different experiences they had of poking around and probing the system so that they not only tried to move it, but it moved them in the same way, where they developed their own personal abilities to be effective in those arenas. And so they did a lot of great things in their careers. So the nature of the people we interviewed is they're folks just like us, but they had strong attitudes about careers that should try to accomplish something. They worked in a diversity of institutional and issue backgrounds, and they had the ability to be articulate about their career as a learning experience and share that with us. So that's sort of the warp and the weave of what is the main attributes of the people in the book that made them candidates and worthy candidates indeed to be interviewed and profiled in the book. What I like about these folks is they also were able to work a certain kind of magic in their careers. And that was just inspiring to watch, because, as a person who has my own struggles about showing initiative and taking risks, all those kinds of things, it was just enjoyable to be around these people who overcame all of those hesitances we might all have to get out there and sort of lead on these issues. And in so doing, they were able to work some magical changes in their careers. And so I'm impressed by their ability to do that when people like me were maybe a bit more reserved about it. Well, because this is a party and we want to honor the fact that the people I interviewed in the book were able to work a certain kind of magic, it made perfect sense that we bring a magician in to do that for us. So I'm thrilled to have you meet one of the Pacific Northwest's most popular and busiest magicians. This guy has been performing magic professionally since 1998, and today he performs more than 250 shows a year, and they range all over the place, from parties to big events for corporations, including Fortune 500 companies like Microsoft and the Boeing Aircraft Corporation. And that magician is Jeff Evans, a good friend, a good mentor to me, and just a darn fine entertainer. So Jeff, can we turn to you, and would you be kind enough to bring some magic to our party?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the amazing magic of Jeff Evans.
Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you guys are. Thank you so much, Michael. So as many of you may know, Michael is also an amateur magician. So we've been at magic conventions together. We've been to magic meetings. So it's a pleasure to be here doing some magic for all of you. And this is going to be interactive. So you may be participating from your own house, but I want you to copy me. Hold your hands out in front of you. Perfect. And then point your thumbs towards the ground. Nice. Loop your hands over and clasp your hands together so you're holding your own hands. And if you're doing exactly what I'm doing, your thumbs will automatically point to the ground. So when I look at the video camera, I see everyone's thumbs pointing to the ground. That's good. That means we're synchronized. And then I want you to copy me. If you can, point your thumbs sideways. One way is easier than the other, so go the easy way. And if you're super flexible, you might be able to point your thumbs all the way to one side. If you can, that's cool. If you're really flexible, try this. See if you can point your thumbs maybe towards the ceiling. All right, who's with me? Who's with me? That is not easy. Don't worry if that didn't work. I actually have two left hands. Yeah, this hand's actually photoshopped in, but it looks really good.
Yes, it does.
One of the cool things about doing magic for Zoom is that I can do magic with tiny items, and just by holding it closer to the camera or even zooming in a little bit, I can make it look really big. So I have a little contraption here that used to be a coin wallet, and this is where I carry my money. And this happens to be a 50-cent piece, but I also have a bunch of coins in a little container. And I would like a volunteer from the audience. And John Chen is kind of the MC, the director here, the producer. So John, if you can find someone who is like paying attention and looks like they could help out, if you want to just add a spotlight to them, it could be anyone.
I got two people. I got Rick and Sandy Moore.
Cool, awesome.
Let's make sure they're unmuted. Let's see if they can say hi. There you go.
What are you doing?
Hey, thanks for helping. So what city are you in?
We are in Colville, Washington. Sorry, I'm going to close my little chat room because I have a small screen here. There we go.
Okay, Colville. I've been to Colville. It's kind of northeast Washington.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, not too far from the border. Cool. So I'm going to actually switch to an overhead camera because it's going to be easier for you to see these coins. This is a 50-cent piece, but I also have a couple of quarters. That's a nickel. I've got pennies. I've got a bunch of coins. Sandy, I'm going to have you do this. Take a wild guess. How much do you think all this money is worth? Now, I don't want you trying to zoom in and count the money. Just use your best intuition.
Okay, I'll say
be precise. Be precise to the nearest cent. How much do you think this is all worth?
Okay, $2.26.
Oh my gosh, you just read my mind. How did you know it was $2.26? Except for one thing, these actually are not coins.
That is
It's
very
the, it's a picture of coins. They used to be real, but then I took a picture of it and I printed it out. And the weird thing about video is that things that are 2D look 3D on video. The other weird thing is that on the back of the photo, I actually wrote how much the money was worth, and it's $2.20.
nice.
Thank you so much for helping.
Thank you.
Now let's try something with everyone. I want you to think of a number between 2 and 12. No, between 3 and 12. Everyone right now think of a number between 3 and 12. And in a moment, I'm going to bring up a picture of a bunch of fruits. And these are going to be numbered from, well, they're not all numbered, but you can see a little circle that says start here. So I want you to take your finger and point to that little circle where it says start here. And you're going to move your number going in a clockwise direction. So for instance, if you were thinking of the number 3, you would count 1, 2, 3, and you'd end on the watermelon. But I want you to do it for your number between 3 and 12. Go ahead and do that now. And I'll wait a moment because some of you may have chosen a large number. Perfect. Now at this point, all of you are pointing to a fruit. It could be grapes, it could be a kiwi, it could be a dragon fruit. But now to make it even more random, whatever your special number was, I want you to move counterclockwise the same number. So if the first time you moved 4 places, now you're going to move 4 in the opposite direction. So go ahead and do that now. And then stop. And at this point, you're all focusing on a fruit that I couldn't have known, no one else could have known because you all chose different numbers. And yet, I believe you are all thinking of an orange. If you're thinking of an orange, give me a thumbs up. Yay, oranges. Everyone's thinking of oranges. That is amazing.
That is great.
That's cool.
Oh, that's the cool thing about these virtual shows. Ooh, wait, my camera just did something weird. I hope. Are the colors okay?
Mm-hmm.
I want to make sure. If you can see the red and the blue handkerchief okay, nod your head up and down. If you can see the, I mean, it is red and blue though, right? It's red and blue. I'm just making sure everyone's paying attention. Let's see. We should do some mind reading. I'm curious, does anyone here have a copy of Michael's book? If you do, kind of wave your hand. Now we're going to find out if people actually buy your book. Oh, John, if you could find someone, oh, and it's also an ebook version, so that works too. John, if you could find someone who has a copy of the book, maybe the print version would be more fun.
I'm going to bring up Patrick Contour. Patrick Contour. There you are. Hi, Patrick.
Awesome.
Let's get you unmuted. I got you unmuted there. Hi, Patrick. How are you?
I'm great.
Patrick, thank you for helping. Can you hold up the copy of your book so I can see it?
And how do you know Michael, Patrick?
Well, my dad is Roger, and he's featured in the book.
Got it.
Gotcha. Can you flip to the very back page and tell me how many pages are in the book?
Okay. Numbered pages, it looks like 203.
203. I want you to think of a page number between 1 and 203 and think of that page number. And John, can you chat me in the chat box what time I'm supposed to wrap up? I didn't look at the time when I started. Okay, so Patrick, you're thinking of a page number between 1 and 203, and look into my eyes, or look into your camera. Okay, I got it. Okay, this is just a quick guess. What page number are you thinking of?
59.
59. That is crazy. I actually wrote page number 59.
What?
Yeah, but it gets even weirder. Open your copy of the book to page 59. And while he's doing that, I want to call all of your attention to this envelope, which has been there before we even started the Zoom meeting. On page 59, I want you to find one word that pops out at you. Don't make it a word like and or the or of, but make it a word with at least 5 letters. what word are you thinking of?
Powerful.
Okay, that's crazy. And now it makes sense. It didn't make sense until now. Before I started the show, I made a prediction. I put it on a piece of paper. I wrote, you will select the word powerful.
Oh, man.
Thank you so much, Patrick. Everyone give him a hand. All right, folks, it's time for one last thing. It's time to play the tic-tac-toe challenge. So I need to find someone who is ready to challenge me in a simple game of tic-tac-toe. If you are courageous and intelligent, wave your hand and John is going to find you. I'm going to get my tic-tac-toe board set up right now.
We're going to bring in family. We're going to bring in Sarah Buse. Hi, Sarah.
Hey.
I got you unmuted, Sarah.
Hi.
Hey, where are you zooming in from? Oh, you've got dogs.
Excuse me.
You know what? Maybe we better have someone else just because.
Looks like she's going to be dogging.
Yeah, no, totally fine. Totally fine. Thank you.
Okay, somebody else.
The dogs knew I had treats.
We got Scott. There, I think Scott might be dog free, and he's got lots of books in his house. Hi, Scott. How are you?
Scott.
Very good, thank you.
Scott, you know the rules of tic-tac-toe. You've got to get 3 in a row, either horizontally or 3 in a row vertically. And I also have a little piece of paper that I'm going to leave kind of right there in plain view over my shoulder. That's going to be important later.
Okay.
And the prize is whoever wins this game of tic-tac-toe is going to receive 50% off of the book. Today only. Got to get it today only. I'll be the X's. So do you want to go at A, B, C, D, E, F, G, or H?
Let's go at A.
A, right in the corner. This tells me that you know tic-tac-toe strategy because this is a smart move. So I need to also be smart. I'm going to counter it with the famous Switzerland strategy right there. And I'm already getting excited because I have a chance to win on my next move. So do you want to go at A, B, C, D, which I do not recommend, E, or F?
I have to do D.
Okay, I made it too obvious. I'll make it less obvious this time. Oh, okay. This is going to be a little bit sneaky. All right, Scott, do you want to go at A or B or C?
I'd rather pick D, actually.
Oh, man, that wasn't even an option. Okay, I was hoping you could see that on the diagonal. Okay. Well, now there's not many options. Okay, is it going to be A or B?
Oh, I think it's going to be A.
What's it going to be?
I think it's going to be A.
Okay, of course, you're going to block me. I have to go there. No one won. It's a tie. Although, over my shoulder, I don't know if you can still see it, I did make a prediction. I didn't tell you what this prediction was, but it's the prediction of a tic-tac-toe game. Check it out. I predicted OXO. You and I, we just played OXO, and I predicted OXX, OXX, XOX, XOX.
Wow, very good.
That's the first time this has happened again. But hold on, we haven't just been playing tic-tac-toe, we've also been making a puzzle. Because I said these were tic-tac-toe games, but I didn't show you the back of these games. Like on the back of the X, there's part of a picture. This is, well, that's part of a picture. That's part of a picture. Wait a minute. The only way this picture would have made sense is if you and I made every single decision the exact way that we did to give us intelligent courage.
Look at that. That's very good. Very good. Impressive.
Thank you so much, Scott. You were awesome. You
Thank
guys,
you.
that is the end of the magic show. Thank you, Michael. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Jeff. It's always such a treat to be around you. Good show. Good show. And then, John, if you wouldn't mind dropping Jeff's link into the chat, if you guys want to connect with Jeff, we're going to send you some material so you can find him in the future if you would like to have a chat with him. Very good. So let me give you a reminder about we're going to give away prizes at the end. And if you haven't done it, please make sure you scoot on over to the sign-up page for that. And John, if you drop that link in as well, the opportunity to win. We're going to give away 3 signed copies of the book and then 3 $25 gift certificates. And it's good for anybody, whether you're streaming or not. And it's good for those of you who are my friends and colleagues and new friends who are offshore. So we can figure out a way to get you these prizes if you live in Nepal or South Africa or wherever. So don't be hesitant to sign up. So take advantage of that and we'll get going. So I'm going to come back to the notion of the main themes of the book and give you just a little bit more content about that, double checking my time here to make sure we're doing good. And we're doing quite good. We're going to create some time for a good Q&A. And so there's 5 big themes that I like to remind people are prevalent throughout the book and encourage people when they read it to sort of read it with those in mind. And the first theme from our narrators and they're unpacking their careers as learning experiences, that they used values as a guide for their career. So if you're looking at your career and whether it's aligned with what you want to do, our narrators in the book found their way forward in that path by thinking about what values are important to me and how can I achieve them. The second big theme in the book is that they were not passive in their careers. They found ways to take action. And so they just didn't sit back and sort of let their careers unroll. They were all about finding a way forward and doing what they could to lead that. Forgot to mention that for the first theme, values, Phil Peaster is just a dynamite role model for that. For the second theme of taking action, everybody did it, but 3 that come to mind from the book are Mike Dombeck, Gloria Flora, and Bern Shank. So those are good role models for how people found ways to take action despite all the pressures to not do that. The third theme was adaptive management. These folks didn't figure out what the best thing to do with their career from the get-go. They adaptively managed their career so that over time they sort of honed in on what it is they wanted to leave as a legacy for their career. The fourth attribute or the fourth theme is people had a sense of personal excellence that I touched upon before. They saw themselves as works in progress, and so they continually tried to refine their skills, including broadening their skills considerably beyond the material they learned in college. So the most frequent occurrence there was folks learning how to work with people. So they took their technical skills forward into their career, but to make those technical skills effective, they decided they needed to learn how to work with people, and they went and got the requisite skills for making that happen. And then the fifth theme is these folks had perseverance. As Roger Connor, who was a great example in the book of that, pointed out, careers are long endeavors, and if you don't get what you want the first time you try to create a positive change, you cycle back and you keep chipping away at trying to make that kind of progress over time, and hopefully that progress accumulates to the end of your career where you can feel satisfied you made what positive changes you could in those arenas. Going to read you a short passage from the book here. This kind of summarizes the meaning of all of that, and then we'll move on to the next thing. This book started by exploring the notion of mastery, career mastery. The narrator's stories affirm that achieving personal mastery is not an invitation-only event reserved for those with exceptional abilities. It's an inner journey where the important milestones are your own, not those imposed by others. This means that mastery of a natural resource career is available to anyone willing to begin the journey and stay on it. The journey begins with the more prosaic, such as acquiring new skills. It achieves significance when these skills of the mind are combined with ideals of the heart to choose a direction for the journey. It achieves the quality of art when the traveler gets good at taking action, committing ideals to the canvas. And nobody invents this journey alone. We all are heirs to the learning and wisdom of people who have asked the same questions before us. Why have I chosen this work? And what does it take to make a difference? So the narrative stories are all different, but they all had that sort of core bedrock ideal that they tried to achieve. We'll come back to a little bit more content on the book in a bit, but for me, it's an issue of feeling a little bit bound up and tired here in the meeting that we're having. And so I get the pleasure, absolute pleasure, of introducing our next presenter for you to meet. And she's the most energetic, passionate, smart, and determined physical trainer that I've come across. She's also the founder and creative director of Chair One Fitness, where she blends her love of teaching dance classes with a passion for helping others achieve their full potential. And in the process, she's running a nationally accredited fitness instructor training program. She's here to inspire us to see past the limitations of our chairs, think what we're doing right now, everybody, and stay healthy and energized in the many, many hours of Zoom meetings that we all participate in these days. So let me introduce to you Alexis Perkins. Alexis, how do we stay energized and healthy in these darn meetings?
Yes, well, first, thank you so much, Michael, for having me here. I'm really excited and pumped to get everybody moving. Like he said, that I'm the founder and creative director of Chair One Fitness. So we like to meet people where they are, no matter their ability level. So he has Intelligent Courage, which is there to stimulate your mind and get you motivated for life. And I'm here to get your body moving. So I hope that you guys will participate with me, meaning if your cameras are off, turn them on. And if you thought that you were going to stay stationary, that you're just going to back up. And we're only going to do one song, only one. So I believe, and I'm optimistic that we could all do one song. Does that sound something that we can all do? Yes? All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to back up my chair while you guys get a little bit of wiggle room too. A little bit of leg movement, a little bit of arm movement, just to get our bodies going because it makes us feel good. It even makes us think better. So I'm going to back up so we can get ready to get started. All righty, let me tilt my camera down and back it on up. Let me tilt this properly. There we go, I think that's about right. Boom, boom. Okay, everybody good? Let me come up. Everybody good? Yes? Okay, here we go. All right, this is a nice little fun song. Let me back up a little bit so you can make sure you have everything moving. Easy march to start. We just want to catch the beat at first. You gotta smile too, because that automatically uplifts your mood. We're gonna have knee lifts. Lift and lift. Nice control. A simple knee lift is gonna engage that lower part of your core while also getting your legs moving up and up. Nice and easy. We're gonna have a step out and in. Good. Out and out. At a roll. So now we have our arms and our legs moving. Good. Take the arms up. Good. We're going to change to a tap forward. Tap and tap. Let those arms come down while we're moving. All right. We're going to have two taps, same side. 2 and 1. Open up. Open and open. Almost like a knock. Knock. Open up. Open and open. Change. Knock on the door. Good. Open it up. Knock. Open. From the top. Out in. Roll. Good. Nice and easy. Opening up those hips. Raise those arms. Up. Good. We're going to go back to those toe taps and tap. Let those arms drop down at the same time. We have those 2 knocks. 2 and 1. Open up. Open and open. So it's forward to the side. Open and open. Good. As the song says, work that body. push. Shake it up. Nice. All right, time to get some real work done. We're gonna push across. It's 2 and 2. Push center. 2 and 2. Change sides. 2 and center. Good. Push and push. Not hard work. We're going back to those 2 knocks. 2. Open up. Open and open. And knock and knock. Open up. Good. Knock and knock. Open up. All right, we're going to take it from the top, legs out and in, and roll. Good. We're going to raise those arms up just a bit. Roll and roll. Very nice. I see some people at the top. Tap and tap. Good. We're going to have those 2 knocks. 2. Open up. Open and open. Good. Up and up. Open. Nice. We're going to have those 2 pushes to one side. Push and push. Shake it up. Good. We can shake it like the bartender did. Shake it up. Push. Push. Shake it up. Very good. All right. This thing naturally starts over. I'm going to scoot back up. But yes, I hope you had fun getting moving just a little bit. It's amazing how much your heart rate can increase while you're sitting down, which means it's an excellent program for anybody who has complications standing. So whether somebody's of age, if they have a torn ACL, arthritis, if they're suffering from obesity, we still give them a fun option, and we hope that you guys had fun today as well.
Thank you. Thank you. What a treat. What a treat. So John dropped her link into the chat. So if you want to follow up and connect with Alexis in the future, there'll be a link in your chat that you can capture and do that as appropriate. Take care. Thanks a lot. Well, so now we're going to move into a really good opportunity for you to meet the people in the book. Now, I'm going to take a stab that I know who all the narrators are that are in the program here. And let me do a round of introductions. And if I've missed somebody, you guys stop me and make sure that I've covered everybody here. So from the people that are interviewed in the book, we're fortunate to have Mike Dombeck. I'll introduce everybody and then we'll get them talking. And if you don't know Mike, he's former chief of the Forest Service. And in his career, he did many terrific things, including considering how you take a whole institutional organization like the Forest Service and get it thinking about changing its mission or its internal culture to accomplish many good things. And he took on really tough issues in his career, things like roadless area management, how to inculcate ecosystem values and forest management. And then way back in the 1970s, when I first was aware of Mike, I remember hearing him talk about water management, particularly here in the West, and the impending problems that we're going to have with fresh water in the West. He's way ahead of the pack in thinking there's a problem coming, we ought to be doing something about it. And of course, we're realizing that now that it's coming to fruition, that we're going to have to deal with that. And he's had tons of awards for his work, including the highest in federal service of the presidential rank and Distinguished Executive Award. And I'm happy to say that in March, I think it is, he's going to be recognized and inducted into the Wisconsin Conservation Hall of Fame. So Mike, we're glad you're here. Roger Conter is with us. He's a former Idaho ranch kid who lived next door to Yellowstone National Park and went into the park for recreation and decided, hey, this might be a pretty darn good career. And so he made a whole career out of being in the Park Service, where his jobs ranged from janitor to regional director, including regional director of the over 41 million acres of National Park Service lands in Alaska. And he was also a trendsetter on a world scale as well, where he was the Secretary General for the second World Conference on National Parks, which set the wheels in motion to create a worldwide network of national parks as a world knitted together World Heritage System. I most enjoyed talking to him about his experiences with North Cascades National Park in Western Washington, where he got off an airplane one day with a pad of paper, a pencil, and a rental car, and had to go create a whole brand new national park, and ended up creating one with a unique, non-traditional mission, which was one to emphasize wilderness experiences. And he's been recognized a lot in his career too, and including being inducted into the University of Idaho's Alumni Hall of Fame. Tom Peterson is with us. Tom is a guy, well, let me begin with a question here. What would you do if you were frustrated with the slowness of the nation to effectively tackle climate change? Well, Tom had that frustration, but he did something about it. And he ultimately founded the Center for Climate Strategies, which is all about getting states to write climate action management plans, because if the states set a trend doing good things for climate management, the probability of the federal government following along and adopting those innovations increases. And so he's began his interest in doing this kind of stuff, getting people to cooperate way back in college, where beginning in his Christian Fellowship Club and working through state government jobs that he's had, and through teaching at a university, and now in the Center for Climate Strategies, his focus has been how on earth do you get people to cooperate on these kinds of issues, especially big issues, and take good action. And along the way, he's got his own array of awards, 2 gold medals from the EPA, for example, for his work on forest management. Think spotted owls there, and you're good to go. I think I saw her I won't look for it now, but I think I saw Gloria Flora join us in mid-process. And so I'm so pleased she's here as well. And she's a person that is a good role model, because let me pose another question to you. How would you handle a $1 billion decision on the Lewis and Clark National Forest on the Rocky Mountain Front Range to allow or not allow oil and gas development? How would you go about constructing yourself so you were prepared to make that decision emotionally inside yourself, but also get a decision that would live and work in the institutions? Well, she did it. And so in the book are good stories about what that process was like for her. And you're going to and you should also understand, again, we've got another big award winner here, where the best ones are at the end of this little list here. So Wilderness Society's Muir Award, recognized for exemplary decision-making from the Natural Resources Council of America, Behind the Headlines Award from the Project on Government Oversight, and even Environmental Hero Awards from Sunset Magazine and Vanity Fair Magazine. So I'm really pleased she's here with us. So I think that's it. Is there any other narrators here? Speak up if you are. So I need to know if you've had the opportunity to come and attend. Okay. I think
again, Mike. Oh, sorry, Michael. I just want to make sure. Gloria is here, I believe, and she just doesn't have a camera on. Okay. And if you want to unmute, we can just make sure that she's here.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Gloria, with you behind
I'm here, and I apologize. Have some video issues today, but my voice is good enough, I think, and so happy to be here. This is really fun, Mike. Thanks.
Cool. Good. Well, let's have our narrators give us some opening remarks here. I asked them, is there something you'd like to share with the audience? And so give each of them a little bit of an opportunity to greet you and share whatever's on their mind about it. But then if we have as much time as we possible, we'll try to give you an opportunity to ask at least 1 or 2 questions, and we'll have a bit of a give and take a conversation. I think we'll take them in this order. Roger, Tom, Gloria, and then Mike will go in that order. So Roger, would you care to say something?
I would care to say a little bit. There was too much sugar in my drink, so I'm working on it. But all jokes aside, I appreciate being included among such a great group of high achievers. Their input is refreshing and it's realistic. I keep reading Intelligent Courage over and over, and it deserves that. Its strongest points are timeless, I think they're just as valid in 1950 as they will be in 2050. And I wish I had seen it mid-career. I'm going to steal from Max Bazerman to say that it targets one of the world's greatest needs, and that is improving people's decision-making behaviors. Let me repeat that: improving the world's human decision-making achievements. Behaviors. I'm sorry.
You're good.
Behaviors. Yes, and that is a powerful, powerful part of it. Another powerful spot in the book, and it's the most shocking and almost worrisome, is Gloria, Flora. I'm glad you're here. Your coverage of the Jarbidge River fiasco in Nevada is just a wow. And please go to page 49 if you haven't been there. There's a non-surprise. I just gave the new printing to an FBI agent, a school teacher, and a hydrologist. And their feedback leads me to believe that this book is not just for resource managers. This book is for almost everybody who works in a large organization or a complex organization anywhere in the world. Now, the last thing for me is a shout of sincere compliments to my old friend and co-philosopher, Mike Fraidenburg. He was so highly respected in the Washington Department, or Washington Fish and Wildlife Commission. That is kind of unbelievable. He's polite. He's astonishingly knowledgeable. He doesn't flaunt his knowledge unless he's asked a question, and then he's going to give it to you. He's our gentle persuader, and his closing chapter, called Lessons Learned, show exactly how. And that's what he does. My compliments again, and I said my piece.
All right. Thank you, Roger. I appreciate that. It's very flattering, obviously. Tom Peterson, would you care to make a couple of remarks?
Well, Mike, thanks so much for including me in the book and including me in this celebration. And it's really great to see and hear from everybody. And I'm sure this is just the tip of the iceberg in relation to all of the people who are so devoted to this cause for conservation and have really walked the walk in terms of, making the decisions and the sacrifices and the commitments to actually make things happen. And of course, it's so much different to actually do things and see them to conclusion than it is to complain about them or talk about them. So my hat's off to everybody who's really rolled up their sleeves and been committed to making things happen. I guess there are maybe 2 or 3 things real quickly here. One is, it's been a little while since the book was written and since I did my interview, and as I think we're all kind of aware, the world has sort of changed a bit. But as Roger indicated, some things don't change. When I look back now on the work that I've done in the field of environment and natural resources, I guess one of the big things that stands out is the importance of working with people and helping people reach agreements and helping them work together so that we can move forward as a society, as a locality, as an organization. Whatever we do, we really do it better when we do it together. And there's a lot that goes into helping people work together effectively to do that. And 2 of the biggest challenges that I've run into along the way that get to leadership is, one is a lack of literacy. As well educated as we are in the United States and even in very wealthy metropolitan areas. I live in the city of Fairfax in Fairfax, Virginia, one of the wealthiest and most well-educated jurisdictions probably on earth. We have a lot of blind spots about the natural environment and our relationship with it and what that really means. I think that's changing now. My daughter, when she went through K through 12, received education that just wasn't available at all to any of us at that level. And even in college, people didn't receive it. But still, we have people, white collar professionals, et cetera, who just have pretty big gaps, pretty big blind spots, and it makes it very difficult for them to comprehend what's really going on and what's at stake. And that's a real big problem. I think we have to be patient with it, but I think we have to be persistent. And, in my own life, I've come to the conclusion that education is unbelievably important. And without it and an improvement in all this area, it's going to be really difficult for us to progress. The other big issue is willpower. When it's clear you really do have a problem, something that needs to be addressed, then, we kind of separate the wheat from the chaff in a big hurry here. There are those who step up to the plate and say, I don't know the answer. But I believe that we can find one by working together, working hard, being committed. And then there are those that look the other way and engage in denial and that whole routine. That's kind of gotten popularized, I think, in the last couple of years in particular, and I find that really disturbing. But this is where you can tell pretty quickly whether a person is truly acting as a leader when they're willing to step up to the plate instead of looking the other way. And I've seen plenty of both of that, and I certainly encourage everybody to step up to the plate when the time comes, no matter how difficult it might seem. There really is a way forward. For young people, and I teach now, I've been teaching at the university level since, I guess, 2003. And a lot of, so I work with a lot of younger people who are at their earlier and mid-career stages, and they are, I think, right at that stage where they're looking into whether or not to pursue a career in environment, natural resources, or something related to that. And I have maybe a couple thoughts that come out of my own experience for people who are thinking about careers or career changes. The first is to be honest and realistic. It's tough to plan on having just one career in your life, particularly when you're a young person. As much as I love and as much as we love jobs in the environment and natural resource conservation area, they may not last, they may not fit, they may not be right. You may need to be doing other things with your lives. And for any young person today, as I do with my daughter, I would advise them to be able to work in more than one career. The second thing is find ways for your interest to cross in a way that lets you be more diverse in what you do. And the big thing that I think people need to learn from the very beginning is how to work with each other, how to work with people, how to be human-centered, how to understand the human equation. If we don't really understand that, we're not going to deal with the natural resources equation. My daughter is a psychology major at James Madison University. It's been incredible to watch the preparation she has received in being able to work with individuals and groups on all kinds of issues and to help people address things that need to be addressed. And that's a skill set that I wish I had when I had gotten started. It's a skill set that I would recommend for anybody getting into any field, because it's really tough to succeed individually and to help others succeed unless you do that. And I just look back again in my own life and the overwhelming importance of being able to work effectively with people and to bring them forward, help close the information and literacy gaps they have, help improve their willpower, help in getting them to work with other people, whether they're used to doing that or not. Those are the areas that I think are really very important for us to continue to progress in. And once again, Michael, thanks so much for the opportunity to join everybody today.
Great. Thank you, Tom. Very nice. Gloria, would you care to make some remarks?
Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for inviting me to join the party, Mike. It's a great deal of fun and quite a bit different from my normal work here. So I am also just still very honored to be included in your book. And with my fine colleagues, I've had the opportunity to work directly with Mike and with Tom. So it's a pleasure to see them again. And I do want to update folks. If you have read the book, one of the things that I was involved with was protecting the Rocky Mountain front in Montana. And when I was forest supervisor there, I put it off limits to oil and gas leasing for a planning period, 10 to 20 years. Well, after I left the Forest Service, I went back to Montana and co-founded a collaboration or a coalition to protect the front. And we've been wildly successful, even during the Bush administration and other times when people wouldn't think we would be successful. But we had a great team. We have a great team. We're continuing to work. The good news is that after a 7-year effort for a citizen-based conservation legislation, we were able to get the Rocky Mountain Front Heritage Act passed. And within that act, we were able to secure 67,000 acres of new wilderness, which was the first new wilderness designated in Montana in 32 years. And we were able to, yeah, woohoo, I'm pretty excited about that still. We were also able to deal with the existing leases through some very innovative work. And so there is only one lease left of 81, and we are fighting tooth and nail still in the courts to try to eliminate that last lease. So good news on the front. Nevada still continues to be let's see, I'm trying to think of a polite word to use here, but a storm of certain natures. So, and I'm still fully engaged, working full time with my nonprofit, Sustainable Obtainable Solutions. And one of the things that I do is participate in a local collaborative with the Colville National Forest. And very proud to say that the Colville has been a great forest to work with for the most part. There are some caveats. But we were able, with the collaborative and working with the Forest Service, to take a very small 1-million-acre forest and really create an amazing amount of not only productivity, if you will, by vegetation treatments that really help the land, but also those byproducts that came off the land were able to support a couple of mills and a mass timber plant, and I think that we were treating the land really, really well, and showing that it could be done. You could have your cake and eat it too. Well, there's a little bit too much interest in the cake right now, so we're working on fixing that. But yeah, so it's been great to see the change in the agency. Some things have. I'm sadly surprised sometimes when I encounter some of the older ways of thinking, but it has made significant progress. So it's great to see that. I just wanted to also say, give a shout out and a thank you to my mentor, Tom Kovalicki, who was certainly a person who could have been included in this book for his innovation and bold thinking. And he's really the one that taught me to be, I wouldn't say disrespectful, but I would say strong in sticking to the ethics and principles that guide my life and that are the tenets of sustainability.
Great.
Also like to thank Tom Peterson. Tom and I worked together. He hired me to work with the Center for Climate Strategies for a while, and that has been a real highlight in my career. And I think I'd just like to close with saying that the very things that I told my first employees that were important to me, and that was that if they performed with honesty, integrity, and ethical behavior, nothing they did was going to be wrong. And also that the quotation that I still have on the back of my business card, which was on the first business card I ever had with the Forest Service, is from Aldo Leopold. And that is, There are two things that interest me: the relationship of people to their land and the relationship of people to each other. And that continues to this day. So thanks everybody for showing up, and thanks again, Mike, for hosting, and thanks to I see some local faces that I very much like. So thank you, Rick and Sandy.
Thanks so much, Gloria. So we're going to give the last word to Mike, but to keep us on schedule here, so we end at 12:30 Pacific time. We will not have time for questions and answers, but what we are going to do is that I and anybody else who wants to can hang on after 12:30, and we continue this conversation. But with that, Mike, can we give the last word to you, and then we'll go into the closing things we need to do.
Well, yes, thank you, Michael, for doing this. You know, when you contacted me about the second run of this, I wondered what you were going to do. And part of the reason I participate is I wanted to learn more about the virtual meeting process and the marketing process, and I am so impressed with how this is working. And it's just wonderful to hear Gloria's voice, who we haven't talked for a long time. And Gloria, I'm at my daughter's house. You may remember being on horseback with Mary, probably 25 years ago. And I hope we can reconnect soon. And I'm so glad you mentioned the name Tom Kovalecki, who was one of my mentors. And I remember him declaring the Nez Perce the Fish National Forest. And of course, my fisheries, and that was a surprise. Tom, like you, was way ahead of his time. And I also want to again acknowledge Phil Peaster, who left us yesterday, because I see Cindy Williams online, and her husband Jack, I assume, is there as well, another colleague and close friend of Phil Peaster's, who just has done so much. I'll be brief, but I want to just mention a few things, and that's that we're only given a few times to have opportunities to make a difference, and I consider myself one of the luckiest people in the world to be in a position where the stars lined up, not just one time in my career, but I would say 3 times in my career. And you know, when you're in a big organization, whether it be I think a private sector organization, an organization like the Park Service, Forest Service, Bureau of Land Management, to have that opportunity where your personal goals line up with the opportunities is really, really pretty amazing. And the one thing we see in organizational behavior, which I focused on a lot, was that there's the mission of the organization. And that's why we go to work for the organization, because we believe in the mission. And I think we have to be careful the longer we stay in an organization, that we continue to focus on that mission, because there's also the culture of the organization, and the culture of the organization is built on the past, which is also very, very important. But it is also a hindrance, because the loyalties of employees gradually shift to the culture, and they think less about the mission. So we become protective of the past, and we really don't look ahead nearly as much as we should, because large organizations become entrenched. And they become, you know, I think of the Department of Defense, and I think, my gosh, how does an organization like that change with the amazing history and the focus on leadership and command and control? And you're questioning the status quo. How can you possibly do that? And I only mention that to encourage people to continue to focus on the culture is important, but it's really the mission. And if that mission lines up with your personal values, I say go for it at every possible opportunity. And as Mike points out in the book, and some of the narrators have mentioned, we really don't know what the outcome is going to be. One of my favorite sayings is, life is mostly attitude and timing. And, in my case, I consider myself the luckiest person in the world, but I encourage, risk-taking, do stuff. If it feels right, find like-minded people, build a support base, work in a positive way, and be nice to your opponents, because you will learn more from your opponents than you will your friends, because especially in the policy-making arena, your opponents point out the weaknesses, in your science. They point out the weaknesses in your debate. They show you where the potholes are in the road, and then you can fill them up and continue to move forward. It reminds me of Red Skelton's statement. Some of you might be old enough like me to remember Red Skelton, and he said, "I don't hate my enemies. I made most of them." So at any rate, we have tremendous opportunities. We've made tremendous strides. Gloria, I think of our careers in the Forest Service and how much management of national forests has improved with focusing on new perspectives, ecosystem management, watershed management, the focus on water, but we have so much more to do. And protecting old growth. Where are we ever going to have old growth forests in the United States? Probably not private sector, probably not industrial forests. It's got to be national parks, national forests, wilderness, or largely mountains, not all. So the future of the forests, in my view, is water. It's old growth, and that's where we should be headed. And let's provide a support base for employees and leaders to move in that direction. With the focus of climate change like we have today, the opportunities have never been better. So I'll just stop there, and thank you again, Michael, for all that you do.
Well, thank you, and thanks so much for the compliments, but compliments to you guys, because if the book has merit, it's simply because it's a vehicle to tell your really gratifying stories. The reality is we only have about 10 minutes, and John Chen, I'm going to invite you to come back in here and give away some stuff. And now again, we're going to hang on, at least I will. I don't know about everybody else's schedule after the fact, and we'll continue this conversation. I have a particular interest, if you're available, Bindu, to meet you after the session. So if your schedule permits, please stay on. I'd like to meet you in person and have a brief conversation with you. But John, give away some stuff.
All right, we have 6 prizes. We have, 16 people on the wheel. We're going to start off first with a gift certificate. Michael, how much is this gift certificate?
Each gift certificate is $25, and it can be almost for sure sent to anybody in the world.
Again, you do not need to be present to win, correct, Michael?
Correct.
Here we go. First winner is... It's Terry! Yay! Terry Schmidt. Congratulations, Terry.
I can drive that one down the road here, so.
Okay, we're going to move. So you can't win twice, Terry. Can't win twice. Next winner is going to get one of Michael's amazing books. Here we go. Bindu. Bindu, you get a copy of Michael's book. How do you know Bindu, Michael?
We connected on LinkedIn, so I just need to meet her in person.
Excellent. Oh, and Bindu, you might be here twice. Let's find out. Okay, great. Let's see. Next winner is going to be, again, a gift certificate going back and forth. Who wants cash? Oh, Bindu's online too, by the way. We've got Betty. Betty, I think I see you here. Feel free to unmute, Betty. Bindu is also here. Bindu, do you want to try and unmute and just say hello?
Yay! Thank you.
There you go. That's Betty. Thank you so much, Betty.
Yay! Thanks and congratulations, Mike. What a great party! I'm looking forward to reading your book.
Thank you, Betty.
There you go. There's Betty, and look at she's got the beautiful skylight windows today. Okay, coming up next. Let's see, we just gave away a gift certificate, another copy of Michael's books going to Chris. Nancy, you were so close. Chris Loggers. Chris was here earlier. Thank you so much, Chris. Let me make sure. I think it looks like you are writing down too, Michael, right?
I am, yes.
Chris Loggers. Okay, great. Our next one, final gift certificate, Gyno's gift certificate. No whammies, all money if we're talking about Red Skeleton here. And now, Nancy. Checking for Nancy. I believe Nancy again was here a little bit earlier. Okay, great. So Nancy Sullivan, last gift certificate winner, Nancy Sullivan, and here comes the book. Scott. Of course, Scott. Great job, Scott. Let's see, Scott, of course, was here on the panel. Thank you so much, Scott.
Some of you already have the book. If you want me to send it to somebody else, send me an email and I'll send it with your name attached to it.
Excellent, Michael. I think you have some closing words for us.
I do. Thanks, everybody. So we've got just enough time. I'm doing a lot of training these days, and I virtually end every training workshop with a quote from Gloria, actually, that I'm going to share with you. And I end the training workshop with water managers, air managers, fish and gamers, those kinds of folks, getting them to think outside the skills I've taught them and outside their technical skills and think about why on earth the work they're doing is important. And so this quote is for me, is very impactful for me. And so I think I'll share it with you as my way out the door. Share this quote, then we'll give the last word to John to do the technical sign off. So this is me speaking through Gloria's words about why I so deeply appreciate the work you guys are willing to do on these issues that are so important to me. I like to think back on forest service people I've known who asked some important questions like, what am I contributing? What is my legacy? Is my being here on earth doing anything? They can answer these questions. It's not the same if you're in a business just to make a buck. My forest service colleagues and friends are doing something really important. The idea of being able to work with large landscapes and to affect change to help communities and help people enjoy and appreciate the natural world. My God, what a calling, what service. So I absolutely love public land management agencies. And I love the Forest Service. They have the capability and the power to do good things. You just don't get that any other place. There's something about the legacy value of our work that sets it apart. It's fulfilling a promise, a desire I have to be a good ancestor. Someone once said, in The Spiral of Time, when the eyes of the future gaze back into ours, pray, we see no tears because we failed to act. That's why the work we do is important. Let the Spirit inspire action. This work is my way of taking action. So thanks ever so much for all the work you do. It's deeply appreciated, and I want you to know that I notice it when you're doing it. John, can I give the last word to you?
Excellent. I'm going to remove the spotlights here. Let's bring us back to gallery. I think you should be able to see everybody. I'd like to invite everyone at this time to do the thing we almost never do in Zoom meetings. Feel free to unmute. Yeah, everyone go ahead, unmute. I don't care if you have dogs. It's totally okay. And we just want to say congratulations, Michael, on the count of 3. Okay, here we go. Great, lots of unmutes. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.